Keeping in mind this is just one man's opinion. That being said, people are going to tear me apart for who's not on this list. So let's go through the honorable mentions in no set order, because I'm just going ahead and I'm just shuffling them. Honorable mentions to Jonathan Huberdeau, Sebastian Aho, Damon Severson, Brady Shea, Rickard Raquel, Alexander Wenberg, Aaron Ekblad, JT Miller, Alexander Barkov, Sean Monahan, Sean Couturier, Braden Point, William Nylander, Jonathan Drouin, Bo Horvat. All of those names I wrote down thinking maybe they'll be top 20 of players aged 24 and under. They all missed. And I was going to do a list of players, top 20 players 35 and over. There's no point. There's not enough. The NHL's become a young man's league more than ever. And with that being said, let's count down the top 20 players according to me, ages 24 and under. And this is according to age 24 as listed by this magazine, Pool Guide. And it does not include rookies. So if you're looking for Heischer, you're looking for rookies. And if you're looking for guys who haven't played a full season in the NHL's worth of games, for instance, Shea Theodore, I can't. Because they haven't played enough time, and I haven't seen them enough. Now, there's a couple of guys in here that I've seen quite a bit, so I'm willing to go out on a limb and say that they're good. Actually, they might have been in the honorable mentions. We'll go through it. Number 20, Victor Arvidsson of the Nashville Predators. I love the guy, good goal scorer. Could very well be a guy that 2-3 years from now would be much, much higher. But for right now, he's number 20. Number 19, Dougie Hamilton of the Calgary Flames. Can you believe he's only 24? No, I couldn't either. I had to double check that. He's been in the league a long time, and he's a damn good defenseman. I think overrated by some, higher expectations than necessary by others. Is he overpaid? Maybe, but I still think he's a very, very good defenseman. Number 18, Nathan MacKinnon. If MacKinnon has a bounce-back season, which I would expect him to be much, much higher on this list, but this isn't just about projections. This is about who's the best player right now, and I couldn't justify putting him ahead of number 17, Rasmus Ristolainen. Ristolainen's been fantastic for a bad Buffalo team. I know he has gaffes. I know he has bad moments. But it always looks worse when the defense around you isn't very good. And I don't know that he's had a whole lot of help along the way. But he's been a damn good defenseman for Buffalo. And I think he'll be there throughout this long rebuild. Number 16, Mitch Marner. Marner's an explosive talent with tons of upside. The question becomes one of, because he's smaller than other players, is that going to eventually cause him problems down the road in terms of injuries? We don't know. Nobody knows. You don't know. 15, Johnny Hockey, Johnny Gaudreau, Calgary's best when he's on. He does have some consistency issues, which is why I couldn't put him further up than 15th. I just couldn't do it. Number 14, Oscar Klefbom. He's only 24. Edmonton's best defenseman, and for anybody wondering why Klefbom's ahead of Johnny Hockey, you can't have seen a lot of Oscar Klefbom games. He is a legit top 2 defenseman in the NHL. Edmonton's defense is better than people think it is. I think it's better than it looks like it is so far early in the season. And Klefbom is a fantastic defenseman. Number 13, David Pastrnak. 30 goal scorer for the Boston Bruins. One of the most deadly shots out of the young kids that are in the league right now. And I really think the sky's the limit for him. But couldn't justify him being any higher than 13th because at 12, Nikolai Ehlers. Winnipeg is a deadly young team. They've got a lot of really good young forwards. And Ehlers doesn't get the press that other more sexy picks on their depth chart get. But Ehlers is a worthy player. He definitely deserves more mentions than he gets. And he's a damn good player. I like Ehlers quite a bit. Number 11, the most lopsided trade of all time. It's getting there. Philip Forsberg. Consistent in terms of his point totals from year to year. He's a really good player. Nashville's in love with him. And there's good reason why. And he's just a really, really solid player. Barely misses out in the top 10, barely, because at number 10 I got Seth Jones. I've watched a lot of plays that he's made in Columbus. I'm still not sure why Nashville gave him up. I know they wanted Johansson, but Seth Jones for me is just fantastic. Johansson's not on this list because he's 25 according to that book and just misses. Otherwise, I'd have to go, who's better between Johansson or Jones? But I missed that. I didn't have to do it. Number 9, Patrick Laine. Deadly shot. Holy crap, what a deadly shot that guy's got. Goalies are going to be having nightmares about Patrick Laine for his whole career. He's simply intimidating and fantastic. Number 8, Zach Werenski. Came out of nowhere as a rookie in Columbus, played top 4 minutes, played hard minutes, and was a big part of the reason that Columbus turned it around last year, and he's still looking good this year. Werenski is minor, kind of unheralded because, you know, there's so many superstars in the year that he was a rookie, the year before, and now there's a lot of guys the year after they're getting attention, but Werenski's legit. He's fantastic. Number 7, Leon Draisaitl. While he's out with a concussion, the Oilers will suffer. It's such a hard thing to project out. One of okay, so any one team loses one player, who suffers the most? We would say Edmonton with McDavid, but Draisaitl is such a key player, and I don't know that there's anybody in Edmonton that can replace Draisaitl while he's out. I'm looking at you, Kyle Yamamoto. If Yamamoto wants to show he's ready and he's dynamite, this is a perfect opportunity. Absolutely perfect. And it's a lot of pressure to put on a kid, so I really shouldn't say it. Number 6, Brandon Saad. He looks rejuvenated in Chicago. He looks fantastic. This is the Brandon Saad that we all know and remember from when they won a Stanley Cup with him. He looks like he's determined to win another one. He's a big part of the reason that Chicago topped my power rankings for the first list I've done for the year. He's just a really, really, really solid forward. So the top 5, and this is where the arguments are really going to start. Number 5 is Jack Eichel. Eichel is absolutely intimidatingly talented. He's only shown parts of it so far. He has 7 points in 5 games. Consider that Buffalo hasn't won a game this year. Buffalo isn't scoring, and he still got 7 points in 5 games. So Eichel, when I hear people talk about him like he's a failure or like, oh, Eichel's not that great, they haven't watched him. Jack Eichel is an intimidating talent. But he's not a top 2 yet because he just hasn't taken that next step. It's there, though. At number 4 and ahead of him is Mark Scheifele. I can't have Scheifele behind him. Look at Scheifele's body of work. He's getting paid a lot of money by Winnipeg because he's that good. And for anybody who hasn't seen Winnipeg play yet this year, track him down, watch a game. Scheifele is a really solid, consistent player, and he's a leader for the Jets. Number 3. You ready? It's Austin Matthews. There's a feeling in Leafland that Matthews is the greatest player in the league, and I get it. I totally get it. Matthews continually gets these highlight reel goals, and he's awesome, and he's fun to watch, and I have no doubt that he could lead the Leafs to a Stanley Cup. This whole dynasty talk is just crazy. But the idea of the Leafs hoisting a Stanley Cup isn't as crazy as it was before he got there, and he is a big part of the reason why. There are, of course, those other players that I mentioned earlier who are a big part of the reason why as well, and Toronto has fashioned themselves into being a very, very solid team, top to bottom. But number 2, you can't drop Kucherov below Matthews. I can't. Nikita Kucherov might be a winger and Matthews is a center, so people are going to argue Matthews is the better player being a center. Nikita Kucherov just keeps getting better. And I have a funny feeling that Nikita Kucherov could end up being a guy who wins an Art Ross trophy here and there when we're not paying attention. I haven't seen him play a bad game in Tampa. And I've been impressed with him right from when he was a rookie, right until now. He is, and I've said it before, I'll say it again, he's an intimidating talent with the puck. He's not a slouch without the puck. And I think it's easy to get caught up in Stamkos talk and not realize just how good Kucherov really is. Kucherov is simply fantastic. And number one, the worst kept secret of the century, Connor. Connor's had a rough start. 7 points in 5 games. I'm pretty sure it's 7 points in 5 games. Same total as Eichel. But you look at the 100 points he put up last year. With 70 points in 50 games, let's say you project it out, he's still on pace for about 100 points this year. And you can still say he's had kind of an iffy start. He had that hot start against Calgary, and from there it's been kind of slow by his standards. Connor McDavid plays on another level. And I've seen guys do it, whether it's Gretzky or it's Lemieux. Yager was there on for a couple of years, and it's just they make it look effortless. They score points in their sleep. They're just able to do things that other players dream of being able to do. And we can debate right, left, and center about who the best player in the league is, but I can't think of anybody that the Oilers would say, oh yeah, we would trade Connor 1-for-1 for him. And that includes anybody else I've mentioned. He is the Oilers' future. They have to build a team around him that's worthy of a Stanley Cup. I'm still on the fence about whether or not they've done that right now. I think they're on the path. And I can definitely understand why Edmonton and Toronto fans are having this big debate over who's going to win the Stanley Cup first. But I will say this, for my money, players 24 and under, Connor McDavid's number one. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. And thank you so much for watching. I'll talk to you again soon.